Hi guys! Okay, so third time, is the charm. Okay, so I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about how I was the biggest skeptic in the world and now I'm a 3-time elite top 50 coach. So a little bit about me. I met my coach at church and she actually used to do the announcements at the end of the service. And so whenever she would close the service, she would hold the microphone up and she had like these freaking bomb biceps. And I was like, oh man, I want those. And so naturally I went and stalked her on social media and I saw all of her coach posts and I really didn't understand what she did. So I asked her about it. I was like, what is this that you do? Like, I'm kind of interested. And she told me, and my very first instinct was, eye roll, that's a scam, not doing it. Nice try. So for a couple months, I continued to go back to her page, and maybe there's some of you like that in here that you're always thinking, oh, it's a scam, I can't do it, whatever, but you're constantly going back to your coach's page. That's a sign, friend. Okay, so anyways, I kept stalking her, and I would be like, oh my gosh, look at this girl posting her workout selfies. No one cares, but I was the one constantly going back to her page to see. So eventually we talked again and I told her, I was like, listen, I am interested, but she's loving it right now because it's true. I was like, I am interested. I just don't think it's a good time right now. Like, I'm a full-time teacher. My husband has a really crappy job. He's wanting to go to grad school. Like, we're just busy. And she said, okay, but what if you start right now and you're where you want to be a year from now? And that really resonated with me. So I went home and talked to my husband. Literally, I asked her for my enrollment link and then I sat with it for like 3 more days and I kept being like, I promise I'm gonna sign up. And finally I did. And I checked the return policy like 800 times, like to make sure, okay, I can get my money back if I don't like this, because I was nervous. So anyways, I started my coach training and I made the decision to go all in because as a full-time teacher and my husband with his job that he had, we really were living paycheck to paycheck and it was really stressful. So I said, okay, my first goal is to earn my money back and get our groceries paid for. Boom. I worked really hard and it was done. And then my second goal became, okay, well, what if I could pay our car note with my coaching income? Boom, done. And I worked really hard to make it happen. Well, then that little tiny vision started to blossom and change. And before I was 6 months into coaching, I knew my vision. I had not have kids yet. We were not even thinking about kids yet. But I said, okay, one day I'm going to have babies, God willing. And if I want to stay home, I don't want that choice to be made for me, because I am like one of those people who I loved being a teacher. I love being around my job. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to want to work or stay home or not, but I just wanted to be able to be in control of that decision myself. So I started working really hard. And by the end of about year 1.5, I had matched my teaching income. And I was a hobby. Like I worked about 2 hours a day for my first 2 years because I was teaching full time. And then I decided to get really crazy with my goals and go all in and put myself through grad school. So I spent all of last year earning my master's degree, graduated in July, and last March, which is crazy because that's almost a year ago, I found out I was expecting our first baby and I was like, this is it. This is what I've been working for. I'm going to get to stay home with our baby. And I hustled and I worked really hard, and now I am a full-time coach, and I'm not sure if you can see in the swing back there, but that is my little sleeping baby who was welcomed into the world on December 11th, and I get to fulfill that dream. I chose to stay home with him, and it's so wonderful because there is no stress attached. The decision wasn't made for me, and I feel so in control of my family and the opportunities that we get to decide to take because of this business, and that's because I took a chance on something I was really nervous about. So just know that we've all been there. We understand your skepticism. I know what people say. I know what people try to tell you, but if there's any encouragement I can offer you is that anyone who tries to discourage you from taking the leap into a business like this has never done it, because it can change your entire life. My entire life is different. I already have my little baby. His name is Rhett. Rhett's college fund started. My goal is to have his college paid for by the end of this year, which is crazy. And coaching gives me the opportunity to do those things for my family. So again, from the biggest skeptic in the world to full-time 3-time elite coach, which we can talk more about what that means later, but basically at the top of the company. And I just need you to know that if there's anything that you can envision, like, just know you're worth it, and just know you're worth a shot. And guys, the worst case scenario, you decide it's not your thing and get your money back. Like, that's the worst that can happen. And I wish I had had a better understanding of that sooner, because I stood in my own way for about 3 or 4 months, and I could be 3 or 4 months ahead of where I am now. So I hope this is inspiring to you guys. If you have questions about my story, I'd love to share with you more about, you know, what made me decide to go for it. I just was like, let's do this thing. I want it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going all in. Let's go. So if that's you, and in the back of your mind, you're constantly going to your coach's page and creeping on them and looking at them, maybe it's your sign that it's time for you to go for it too. So thank you so much for hopping on with me. I hope you are inspired, and we cannot wait to share the rest of this week with you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.